Hi, welcome to a brand new series. It's called We Are at War. Whew, that's cheery, isn't it? Let me read to you 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 12. It says, fight the good fight of faith. We're going to talk about spiritual warfare. So that's what this series is about. And we're going to do it by answering a number of questions about spiritual warfare and probably keep our conversations in each episode kind of revolving around questions that most people have about spiritual warfare. And so the first one is just simple. Why study spiritual warfare? Why do a series? Why do a podcast or a video cast or a vidcast or whatever you call this? Or spiritual warfare. Because biblically and practically speaking, we are at war. I wish there was another way to say that. The Christian spiritual enemy is not in uniform. The enemy doesn't meet us on a particular battlefield. Our enemy uses ruthless and unconventional tactics, such as deceit, deflection, or disguise. And what's bothersome to me is a large number of pastors and teachers ignore or downplay spiritual warfare to the point that a lot of followers of Jesus don't even know that they're at war. And that puts followers of God in serious danger. I guess in years past, I might have fallen into that same category. But as time has gone by, and I think as I have grown, as I have seen the world and tried to look with a worldview that is very reflective of faith in God, it's dawned on me that maybe the church hasn't done a real good job of teaching a valuable, real, practical way to get a handle on spiritual warfare. There's extremes. There are some churches and denominations that they're always at war over everything, and they're battling over a chocolate chip cookie or a potato chip or the next way the wind is going to blow. And I got news for you. That's bad theology, and I would just shove it aside. And I know that probably that's one of the reasons that churches don't talk about it a lot. On the other end of the spectrum, you've got folks who there's no such thing, and Satan is just, the little deviled ham guy on some kind of Underwood's deviled ham. He's a little cartoon character, and you don't need to worry about him. Again, another bad extreme. But we have to understand, if you're a follower, that there's a war that's going on. It's a spiritual battle. We see it fleshing out in the culture around us. Two things are happening today that I must admit I did not think I would see in my lifetime. First, spiritual warfare is getting more and more intense. And Satan is becoming much more real. Now, Satan hasn't changed, but the battle is getting a little bit tougher. And it has nothing to do with the fact that I'm getting older. It has everything to do with the culture and the shifts that we have seen in the culture, not only on an American culture, but also on a global culture. I think a lot of it has to do, we're moving into end times, and so that also ties into it. The second thing that is happening is that too many Christians are not taking spiritual warfare seriously or even believe that it's going on. And when those two things happen, when they crash together, the danger increases. And we have to be willing to understand that we are in a battleground and we have to do something about it. And so, that's what this series is about. We're going to do an honest, real, biblical look at spiritual warfare so that you're not confused about it, so you can get a handle on it, and that it can be something that will grow us. And here's what you have to remember, and I'm going to remind you this in every episode. God wins. He always wins. He's always going to win. Choose God, stay on His side. You'll be a winner. So spiritual warfare is not something to fear, but it is something that we ought not to be ignorant about. That's what this series is going to cover. We're at war, and we win because God wins. I'll join you next time.